Hi, everybody. Let me just get this started. This was just done right on the cuff here. So here we go.
Hi everyone, just to let you know I have some old favorites as well as new t-shirt designs on sale right now. Link to find them is in the description, and would like to thank you in advance as it really does help the channel, as for years now content like this has been put into an algorithmic black hole as well as being demonetized. So thanks again, as well as
All right, hello everyone. First of all, I'd like to say pre-Happy New Year to those of you that have not had the New Year arrive to you, but I'd also like to ask everyone if you could give me a sound check. A 1 for the sound is okay, a 2 if you don't feel as though you can hear it okay. So I'd appreciate that right now before we begin, if you don't mind. 1 if you can hear, 2 if the volume is not good. This is just an impromptu setup today, so one. Okay, so everybody, is that a 1 for everybody? All right, I'm still setting up. I actually just woke up right now, guys. So let me just get this whole thing set up. I'm sorry about the inconsistency on my abilities here. It's just been a bit yeah, it's been a bit yeah, here we go. Let's put on the ticker. Live show. Yeah, show that. Okay. All right. We're live. So welcome everyone. Depending on where you are, can we get a sort of shout out to where everyone is? I myself, I'm in Bangkok, Thailand. I arrived yesterday. I was in Istanbul from for the last month or less than a month, about 3 weeks. I was in Istanbul. I arrived here in Bangkok, so I looked a little bit haggard. I got a bit of a 5 o'clock shadow. I just kind of woke up. I'm in a hotel room, so you know the lighting. I don't look very beautiful. Obviously, I never do, but I am here. I did have an interesting couple of anecdotes last night being in Thailand. Just the titch of the buzz and an echo. Yeah, sorry about the buzz and the echo, guys. I am in this hotel room. Let me give you a show. It's I tried to make it clean, but you know it's obviously not. I mean, it's a bit messy. I just woke up. It's lunchtime in Thailand today. So yeah, the buzz is going to be there and the echo just because of the room. I'm in this kind of it was actually quite difficult to get a hotel room today. So this was about all I could get. These things here that see, they're trying to double as windows, but when you open them up, they just open up to a wall next door. So it's not the most beautiful place one could be in. But what am I going to say? So it is coming on 2025, and there's been a lot that's happened in the last year. And as you could probably have tell from the thumbnail that I created, it's been a big year. We've had a lot of different things going on. Yeah, Potter J, yeah, I am in Sukhumvit, so I'm going to actually just point that out right there, going back to sorry guys, like as I said, I didn't have very much of a time to get ready for this. But anyway, so we do have the Potter J has figured out where I am. I'm on Sukhumvit Road in Bangkok. Excuse me. And what I'll do, just to give you guys an idea of what it was like here in Bangkok last night before we get to where we all are. I'm assuming most of my audience is going to be in the United States, so we've got about 10 minutes till Eastern Standard Time. And what I'll do right here is I'll just get this ready here. This was Bangkok's, can I share that? Okay, and make that a little bigger. This is what it was like in Bangkok last night.
Let's go! Happy New Year! Happy New Year! Wow! The unrivaled Melody Siam, the icon of our time. 新年快乐！我们的时代标志，骄傲的标志。 Emerging diversity，
ยิ่งใหญ่ด้วยความหลากหลาย
我们的时代，我们的标志，骄傲的标志。
Can you guys hear this okay? I'm just making sure. Doing sound checks, as it were. Anyway, everyone, they celebrate it pretty big here in Thailand. I myself obviously didn't go to this because I'm not going to be surrounded by this many people, and I'm kind of more of a hermit in that respect. I went to just a small party last night. This kind of thing, I wouldn't even attend. I don't go to any kind of fireworks festival. I don't go to anywhere where there's lots of people, basically. But anyway, you guys get the idea. That's what it was like here in Bangkok last night. Probably where it's going to be with you. So where, as I said, this is also a countdown. So we've got about 8 minutes till New Year's on the Eastern Seaboard, or on Eastern Standard Time. I'm just kind of curious where everyone is in the world today in our conversation. So if you could just type in where you're from, and also if you have any questions, we could also go through those things. But before we do, let me just do this. I'm going to give you a little bit about what I've been doing this year. Instagram. Okay, yeah, she's there. Yeah, she's a bit naughty. All right. All right, let me get it back to where my year started here. I've had a big year for travel this year. I've had a very big year for travel. Let's see, yeah, probably about there. And I'm gonna go with that. That's not it. And as I said, please, as this is an impromptu stream, please keep it questions coming. I don't mind. We're looking at my particular Instagram today. So let's see where we are. Shenandoah in Virginia. F Joe Biden if you need to know. Against medical advice. Medical advice, I'll bring that up in just a minute because I have an interesting shop just across the street from my hotel on the patio here in Bangkok. So it could be interesting for you to take a look. So again, this is an AMA. We've got 6 minutes till New Year's, and let's take a look at this. So my New Year's, I started off, I believe it was last year. I was in Tokyo, and these little kids here, whatever that is, I can't really remember them. And I had a large earthquake on one of those days. I met this girl here. I can't remember her name. She was quite nice, quite friendly. Yeah. Whatever her name was, I have a problem with that sometimes. Met my sumo wrestler friend. Let's see, what else did I do here? This was a kind of an interesting night. These people here were garbage collectors. So Japan, what you'll notice if you're ever in Japan, is one of the cleanest places you'll ever be. And they get these people who voluntarily clean up, mind you, clean up the garbage within the city. And this is in Shinjuku City, which is one of the larger. Let me see if I can get this a bit smaller. Okay, and I believe I have a few photos of this. Hold on a sec. Let me bring this up. I thought I had more. Let's see. All right, well, I've totally messed this up. Let's see. There we go. Maybe this way. There we go. So these were, that's my bird. Okay. Well, whatever. Work on that. And then I went to London and I met this interesting character. whoever he was at Speaker's Corner, which is in the northeast side of London's Hyde Park. Now, interestingly enough, is that Hyde Park and Speaker's Corner was supposedly meant to be the area for free speech in the UK, which obviously doesn't even exist. I actually was just in London for a couple of months for October and for November and December of this year. And guys, it gets worse every single year. The place is absolutely a parody, a parody of what you would think that a supposed civilized Western country should be. Now, let's bring back this, because we've only got about 3 minutes until we reach the climax of our evening. Let's go live to New York. Thanks everyone also for being here. I didn't really expect many people to join because it was very impromptu, as I said, a very impromptu stream. And it was done just off the cuff because, as I said, I had my New Year's last night at midnight, which was basically 12 hours. It's 12 hours different. So I'm approaching lunchtime where I am right now. So I thought it'd be just an interesting, little bit of so it's low bit rate. Interestingly, I do have my Coca-Cola. I don't know if you guys can read that. I'll show you that in a minute. Newsfist, you here yet? I think Newsfist might be asleep. I haven't heard from him since last night. I will be doing a stream with him, probably what will be again tonight for me. For everyone else, if you're interested in joining for a sort of recap with a couple of people, I'll be doing basically a year's recap of some of the weirder things, some of the more interesting things, and some of the more faux pas that have been created over the past year. Okay, we're coming down to, let's see, what are we at now? 2 minutes. And I don't know why I'm using the New York. I think probably what it is I don't know what the reason is. I think it was when I was a kid. It was always watching. How many of you, when you were children, watched, I don't know if it's an apple or a bell or something that drops from Times Square in New York City, when it was Dick Clark? I'm not even sure if he's still alive. He was one of those guys that I didn't even realize he was from the 1930s, because I imagine he had so much plastic surgery to the point where he seemed to, he was the Keanu Reeves of his age. He never aged, that being, like he actually never aged. So I guess it was the idea that Dick Clark and the drop of the ball in Times Square was always the kind of, when I was a kid, oh, it's Happy New Year. And I guess what they did, because I grew up on the West Coast, which is 3 hours behind New York. So I'd imagine they had a time delay on that. They must have, obviously, but when you're young, you don't really think about those sort of things. They're kind of neither here nor there. So here we go. I think what we're at is, oh, holy cow. I would say, at least as far as I could tell, it's New Year. Happy New Year, everyone. I don't know why they're not dropping the ball here. This is kind of ridiculous. Maybe if I could find something else. Well, I'm hearing from Grayman Media that, hold on a sec, that, let's see, hold on. He's been dead for the last 15 years. Well, that's too bad. I'm sorry to hear that. But having heard that, I mean, how old did he live to be? Like 100 or something? So, yeah, Dick Clark was AI in the 50s. Right. Okay, well, hold on a sec. Guys, am I assuming it is New Year's in New York City right now? I mean, I don't even, I guess this is, let me see if I could find a better version of this. This doesn't, oh yeah, everyone's screaming. I thought I was watching the ball drop here. This is not so cool. But yeah, we're past Happy New Year. So Happy New Year, everybody. And when I say Happy New Year, you know, it's the same thing. A lot of people, it's like Happy Birthday. I think the reason why you say Happy New Year is not because you're excited about the new year or because, wow, this year New Year's is. I think it's because you've made it another trip around the sun. You're still here, and I think that's why it's important for people. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. They just go to these things. They have their little shakers and their firecrackers. Here, it's all Roman candles and you know, people shooting them at each other. It's quite third world. Like, I enjoy it, actually. I'm in New York and I hear the fireworks. Yeah, okay, so it is Happy New Year. So Happy New Year, everyone. I hope everyone has a happy, healthy New Year. Healthy, especially, because that's the important part you want to have. Let me stop with that, and let's move on to a couple of the things. I want to go back to my own recap. Share. I'm surprised there's so many of you here. I've got about, on all platforms, about 600 people. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. I thought there'd be maybe 50 people, because you know, I didn't really plan this, and you can obviously tell that it's being done very, very not very well. This woman was quite interesting. I don't know if she. Let me see if I can get her to play. I met this woman again at Speaker's Corner. This woman had more balls than probably most men in the United Kingdom will ever have. Let me pump this.
Muhammad, come out of all the Muslims and accept Jesus Christ as Lord, God, and Savior. Jesus is God, not a Muslim, and not a story. Love you.
All right, we're having a problem. So she's a rabble rouser. She was a rabble rouser at the Speaker's Corner. And Speaker's Corner, what used to be a place for people to have sort of political dissent at and air their political grievances. People like Karl Marx, for example, in the 19th century, he went there and gave his, he would try to explain to people his Communist Manifesto. It used to be on that level where you'd have people go there and they can converse on whatever the social topics are. Now it's basically a bunch of mostly Islamic theocratic lunatics. I'm trying to measure my words here. And but you also have, what you have is your Christians, like this lady. We also had this guy. He's an interesting. I'm going through my year, guys. I'm not going to try to play this because I'm on a low bit rate here. This guy here was completely wanting to. He was an anti-natalist who wanted people to die out for you know, having children. It was his whole thing. Let's see. We've got our first super chat. Fan character wearing sunglasses with fireworks appearing on the lenses. Okay, not sure what that means, pattern noticer. Maybe you're going to have to help me out with that again. And also, as I said, guys, I'm going to go for probably another, I don't know, however long I do go. But this is a Q&A, not a Q&A. It's an Ask Me Anything, because I am here and this is completely impromptu. I've got just, you know, a few things to talk about with regards to this past year. Again, this was in the springtime. I went into the British Museum, you know, obviously in London, and I went to the Alexander the Great room in the British Museum, and I found these things. These are quite interesting. They're obviously woman's earrings from the time of Alexander the Great, and they're 2,300 years, thereabouts. And you look at what they are. There are a couple of gold pigeons, and what you'll also notice is they weren't cast. They weren't made from the same cast. They're both individual pigeons. I know it's a bit of a weird one. Nobody's really interested in that kind of stuff than me. Here's Grandpa. I kind of now with all of this sort of AI retouching. I retouched, trying to give some color, not very well, to this photo. Poor guy didn't realize what he was doing, was part of the RAF bomber command during the war. You know, he probably didn't know what he was doing at the time, you know, but here it goes. This was my first trip to Istanbul. this year. I've had 2 trips to Istanbul. I just came in from Istanbul yesterday to Bangkok. One thing they have in Turkey in abundance is cats. They're everywhere, and there is I can leave it in the description afterward. There's a great documentary called Kedi, Kedi, and it's on the cats of Istanbul, and they're absolutely everywhere. And what I've noticed also is that people in so-called developing countries tend to have objectionably less stress, but they're also kinder to animals that aren't their own pets. Because I imagine because of the costs of maintaining strays, they do their best in a lot of these countries to spay and neuter them, but they don't destroy them or put them down, put them to sleep, whatever you want to call it. And so it's just more of I find that these countries like Thailand, where I am now, Istanbul, where I was yesterday, tend to treat animals more kindly, or more kindly. Is that a word? Kinder, I think. A question from Swaster is, what are you doing in Thailand? Just vacationing with family or some other objective? Well, I should say that, well, first of all, I should say that all I'm doing is I'm making my way back to Tokyo. It's since COVID has happened, the prices for flights have gone through the roof, and it's actually cheaper for me to fly from Tokyo to Bangkok and then onward toward Europe than it is to fly from Tokyo to Europe directly. And then, on the bonus side of that, I can get a short stay and a bit of a holiday here in Thailand. So that's what I'm doing. Let's see. Turks, let's see. I'm just going through a couple of these questions. BPS, nothing in particular. Happy New Year. I thought I'd get to pick up a normal emoji. Okay, well, anyway, Happy New Year to you as well. Let's see. Is it Istanbul or Constantinople? Well, in my heart, it's still Constantinople, but it is Istanbul according to atlases at this point. Turks love their pussies. Yes, and this is something I really would like to bring up about the pussies. Obviously, we're talking about cats here. Is that I just spent, prior to going to Istanbul, I spent all of the end of October, November, and half of December in London. I spent about 3 to 4 months of the year in London. And my Lord, that city is one of the ugliest cities on the planet for pussies. Cats, of course, is what I'm talking about. A lot of people would not imagine Istanbul as being a place for beautiful pussies like the cats, beautiful cats, because they would just think it to be, oh, well, it's an Islamic country. They must all be wearing, chadors, burqas, and veils, and walking behind their husbands. Actually, it's not that at all. Since the 1920s, I guess, and the rise of their secular leader Kemal Ataturk, Turkey, at least the western side of Anatolia, is very secular, and there are a lot of beautiful cats in Istanbul. So much so is that it is a distinct difference going from London to Istanbul to check out the cats there. The cats are much more beautiful than they are in London. London is honestly one of the ugliest cities in the world for cats. Ardent Party, good night all. Good night to you as well. So yeah, it is. It's something that you can, so let's see. Let me see. I've got one here from You're the Best. I Love You. Do you see the doubling down of the elites on the H-1B debate as a black swan event? Yeah, I do. The H-1B debate, it's meaningless. I mean, there's about 100,000 of these things given out per year, right? And somehow there's been this traction on social media of Indians becoming the most undesirable group of people whatsoever in the West. And I understand in countries like Canada and the US where you're being inundated with people that tend to not have the social skills that you would like to have as neighbors. However, this doesn't stop, or this is kind of taking away from the idea of our countries, that being Western countries, being, yeah, you got old. Yeah, there's Jonathan Richardson. Yeah. I'll get to that in a minute. It takes away from the idea that our countries are not just being legally inundated with other groups of people. So I think this whole H-1B visa conversation is completely ridiculous. It's a non-event. It's just a contrived thing. Let's see. Oh wow! Thank you very much, Potter J. Let's see. I'll be $50. Thanks very much. It makes very, 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 very thankful. I appreciate it. It makes doing these streams very, very, very good. I'll be in Bangkok in February, back in Tokyo in April. Happy New Year, brother. Drinks at the Hub. Yes, absolutely. I will be in Tokyo at that time. All you do is email me, or you can find me on Telegram here or there. Email navyhato@gmail.com. And drinks to the Hub. Depends which hub you want to go to. I'm kind of prefer Ueno recently. I've kind of gone off the Shinjuku place. It's not my place at all. But thanks very much, Potter. I very much appreciate that. Breaking down the world. Okay, just gonna go through a couple more of these. Cats and burkas. Yeah, that's probably it. Okay, let me see. I kind of got a. This is from Swatster. Do you think Trump will be inaugurated without a glitch, or do you think there will be another attempt at his life? How successful do you think his term will be this time around? Okay. This is a really good question. And the reason it's a good question is because there's a lot of people who think that, well, Trump, his first, he said he was going to build a wall. He said he was going to close the country off to illegal migrants. He said he was going to do X, Y, and Z, but he didn't. Now, you got to look at Trump for his positive personal attributes along with his negative personal attributes. And he is an egomaniac. There's no denying that. He's an absolute egomaniac. And one of the things Trump has is he has control of the Congress. He's got control of the Senate. He's got control of the executive, obviously. And it would seem the courts as well. He has a 2-year window of opportunity here to either make himself, and this is, okay, I should bring it back to his egomaniac ideas. He's got the potential to become a president that does something spectacular, in the sense that he's going to send home all of the migrants. He's going to build the wall. He's going to reshore industry. He's going to shore up the US dollar, or he could just become a second term of Jimmy Carter, who died just recently. I think it was just the other day at 100 years of age. And it's kind of interesting if you take a look. I don't imagine what the ceremony for Jimmy Carter's funeral is going to look at. But if you take a look at the ceremony they had, and I'll look for that in a minute, the ceremony that they had for Ronald Reagan at his death versus the ceremonies that they had at the death of Gerald Ford, or they had, well, Richard Nixon, obviously, but also George Herbert Walker Bush, or many of the presidents previous to him, Lyndon Johnson. They were very mundane, very whatever. Whereas with the funeral procession of President Ronald Reagan, it was a spectacular event with parades down the streets in Washington. I believe that they have a horse that goes with the funeral procession, and a boot. Maybe if somebody can explain this to me, a boot in the stirrup of the horse turned around. And there's obviously no rider, which symbolizes the dead president. That was Ronald Reagan. But Donald Trump, he's got the opportunity to either become a President Reagan, a person of note historically, or another Jimmy Carter, another Bill Clinton, another Barack. Oh, well, Barack Obama will always be the first Kenyan Muslim. Well, not well. They say he's not Muslim, but his name is Barack Hussein Obama. So I mean, you do with that as you will. So I think that he will at least try to do things because he doesn't have to worry about re-election. So I think he's at least going to try to make himself a person of note historically. Jonathan Richards, you got old, Black. Yeah, we all do, guy. I mean, it's one of those things, we can't help it. It's unfortunate. Let's see. Here's another one. Turkish and Arabic women often have short black beards. Maybe it's why Muslims love their hairy mess so much. Yeah, perhaps Eastern Anatolia Turkish women do. But I wouldn't say Western Anatolian women do. So I'm not going to go with that. Let's see. Yeah, that one speaks for itself. Question from Rock E. Shepherd. Can I live on 5K in Tokyo? Yes, you can. No problem. I mean, you're not going to live the big life, but obviously you can. There's somebody here dropping in. D is dropping in Soy 4. Anyone who knows what Soy 4 knows, he's just trying to be a disturber, an S disturber. So yeah, and here's something coming from the great John Ashley Smith. You've got to be a titanic narcissist to look in the mirror and say, I can run the world. And to be honest, I think Trump is a titanic narcissist, and I believe that he would be the one to do something like that. Got some others. I'm just trying to catch up here, guys, and then I'll move on with this stream. Let's see. Here we go. Somebody actually answered the question for me. The boot is turned around because of Benedict Arnold. It's to symbolize his loss of his leg. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I also, the whole Benedict Arnold thing, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Was he a traitor to the United States? I mean, the United States wasn't even a country at the time, or was he actually just a double agent for the crown? Every country needs its myths, I guess. Anyone can go with that. Here's something that a comment that I really would agree with. Unfortunately, Reagan shut down the state mental hospitals that we need so desperately now. Yeah, this has not only happened in the United States. This has happened, as far as I know, in most Western countries. I know it has in Canada. And the people that you see, most of the people on the streets, the homeless people that you see, are people that are not mentally capable of taking care of themselves. These are people that would have been in sanatoriums in days gone past, but they're not anymore. And that's one of the big problems. I mean, that we as a society have just completely abrogated our responsibility to our fellow citizens. And it does follow, though, because the problem is that with our fellow citizens, I mean, who is our fellow citizens at this point? With open borders, countries don't matter. Your country doesn't matter. If anyone can be American, if the doors are open, anyone can walk through, put their hand out, say, gives me that. Oz wants my share of the pie that you've never put into. I mean, what does it even mean to have a nationality? People say, well, I'm American, I'm Canadian. Well, I'm from Australia, Oz. I'm from the lucky country. Well, okay, sure. But I mean, it means nothing so long as your borders are wide open. So, I think that, during the 1980s, maybe the 90s was the last decade where you had people actually feel that you were part of a country or had a nationality. I don't think it's been that way for a long time. Let's take a look at more. I'm just trying to get ahead of myself here. What is your favorite breed of dog? Oh, I have a lot of them, but I'd probably have to say the Labrador. They're just, they're nice and they're docile and they're friendly and they just kind of, they're your friend. So I like them. Yeah, it gives me that. Guess what, Corgi about? Okay, so let's go back. I just want to finish off this part of my year. So, yeah, this is my first trip to Istanbul. Let's get this a bit bigger here. And then I went over to Hungary. This picture is kind of interesting. This is a picture of, it's an art exhibit. These are actually bronze shoes and they symbolize the historical. Nah, I'm not going to get into that. I don't want to have this. No, not going to go into there. They did have it in Budapest. They did have a kind of a neat Star Wars museum with like lots of different helmets, as you can see. I was a Star Wars fan as a child. I haven't watched anything since. I mean, I did watch what was it called? The Obi-Wan Kenobi miniseries, but that was about it. I didn't watch anything else. That was pretty neat. It had a cool. I saw this. He was pretty awesome. This black pigeon, this Budapest black pigeon. Well, he was kind of neat. This is in Budapest, obviously Budapest. I'll just go through these. And I went here as well to. I won't even say it, but you can kind of figure out where it is. This right here was the. Well, I'm not going to say that either. I'm just not even going to say it. I went here back in April of the year, and it was. Oh, yeah, that's where it was. And that was because I was staying in Krakow. I'm not going to get into that. Staying in Krakow. And Krakow's a really pretty city. Is a picture of Krakow. I actually just ended up there by chance. Here's another interesting. This is I went when I was in London again. This would be in maybe May. This is a fixture. He's one of the more eccentric characters in London's Speaker's Corner. And he calls himself the race realist. Let me see if I can bring him up a little bit better. You take a look at his no, I can't really. He's got on his shirt here the different categories of racial crimes that they have. Only British people might know what these are. IC1, IC2, I can't read what these are. IC3, IC4, IC to IC7. Maybe some British people can explain that. He's got a 666 on one side and a 1488 on the other. And he dresses in a military uniform with a pith helmet. And he's there most days on Sunday, having his say on what he sees as the race relations in the United Kingdom. Very interesting character. Here, going back up. So yeah, this I was in earlier in Spain, Portugal. There I was back in London. Generally stay in Abbey Road around Paddington, which is quite nice. I saw this. You guys might like this. This is, I'll give you a hint. I won't give you a hint because it's too easy. I saw this outside. This is Abbey Road Studio. And outside Abbey Road Studio, as you can see, everyone uses it as a kind of bulletin board. You know, I was here kind of thing. And I saw this Trump 2024 MAGA. I thought that was pretty cool. This is about a month or 2 months ago. Getting back to Istanbul, this is when I was here, when I was there just recently. This is what I was talking about here, about cats. This is a cat, just a cat food dispenser for stray cats on the streets here, streets there in Istanbul. You put it in and they'll take anything. And it's quite nice. All the little cats, you can just feed them, and all of the little cats are very friendly. I know, not very strong, but you also have stuff. Oh, that's about it for my year. And now I'm in Bangkok. So there, done with that. Yeah, if anyone could hit the like button, that'd be good. All right, still waiting for some questions. All right, let's go to let's see, we can kill that. All right, let's go through as as we'll do this here. Every year, a lot of notable people pass away, and we'll just go through. The funny part is I went through this, and I think that I'm kind of almost completely out of touch with the general zeitgeist of society, because as I said earlier in the stream, I did hear that President Jimmy Carter died the other day at 100. So I mean, you can't really mourn a person who lives to be 100. I mean, when people die at 16 or 17. But let's take a look here. We have stage and screen. Let's make this a little smaller. David Soul as Ken Hutch from Starsky and Hutch. This one I do know, Shannon Doherty. She was on Beverly Hills 90210. When I was a little kid, I thought she was very attractive, but as I learned later on in life, she wasn't the nicest of people. Dame Maggie Smith, not really sure. James Earl Jones, obviously, rest in peace, Darth Vader. Interesting thing about James Earl Jones is I saw an interview with him, and you'd never expect it, being that he's a voice actor for one of the most iconic characters ever in cinema, Darth Vader. But he claims to have a stutter, or excuse me, he had a stutter. He's not with us anymore, which I found quite amazing in retrospect, because a man with a stutter being cast in the voice role of probably one of the most, or if not the most, iconic character in film, in cinema's history. Shelley Duvall, of course. Well, I never really thought she was pretty when I was younger, but I can see it now. Quite beautiful young woman at the time, from the Shining movie. She's passed away. Donald Sutherland, of course, father to Jack Bauer. Interestingly enough, I've always found this part interesting, is that Jack Bauer, his son, the hero, the savior of the United States, both he and his father are Canadian, not American. And Jack Bauer himself, Kiefer Sutherland, was born in London, while his father, Canadian Donald Sutherland, was working, I think, in the West End during his time in the theater there. So unfortunately, he's passed away. He was a really good actor, and his son I actually quite like as well. Alain Delon, yeah, French guy, supposedly very based in his day. Quite cool. No idea. Gina Rowlands, no idea, but very attractive. Timothy West, no idea. God, I don't know who any of these people are. Dr. Ruth, no idea. Wow, this is pretty sad. I don't know who any of these people are. Oh, Liam Payne, whoever he was, I don't know who he is. X Factor, I guess that's a TV show. I've never seen it. He looks quite young, age 31. That's really unfortunate. Francois Hardy, French singer and songwriter. Wow, she was a real dish in her day. Quincy Jones, I think he was the Michael Jackson producer guy. Chris Christopherson, yeah, he's passed away. He was I actually never knew that he sang. I saw him in a bunch of TV shows when I was a kid. Politics says, yeah, here it is, Jimmy Carter, 100. No, I don't know any of these people. No idea. Achievers. Camilla Batman Gehalila Judge. I don't know. She might have been killed by neck injury, having that thing on her head there. Peter Higgs. I'm assuming this is from the Higgs boson. Yeah, okay. Nobel Prize winning physicists. Peter Higgs. Okay, well, that's quite notable. General Sir Michael Jackson, former head of the British Army. It was in charge of the U.S.-led invasion of Iraq. Okay, well, this guy in Kosovo. Okay, yeah, well, not in, yeah, well, I won't say it. Sport, no idea. Kevin Kipnum, Kenyan marathon runner, no idea. Rebecca Cheptegei, she was only 33 as well. That's really unfortunate. A lot of young people. But we're not going to say why young people died here, obviously. I mean, because, all of these young people that keep dying, especially athletes. It's just coincidence, guys. It's absolute coincidence. We're not going to bring up the fact that they could possibly ever be that otherwise. Let's see. Let's go back to some questions. Do I have any here? Here's a very good one. Not really a question, but over the past year, I noticed I cannot find your channel unless I search. Hardly ever gets recommended on YouTube. That's 100% true. And this has been going on for years, and it just gets worse by the year. It doesn't get, and it gets, one thing is my channel, it started in 2019, I got demonetized. I only got remonetized recently after deleting all of my material from the past few years. But it's what you call a shadow ban. YouTube doesn't, or I don't know. There's probably just rogue employees at the company. I mean, and they don't like things I have to say, so it never gets recommended. The channel basically is in free fall death. I have another channel, but it's already been tagged as being mine, so it doesn't really matter. I might start a new channel, but once I do, it'll get tagged as me, so it won't make any difference. That's why I say to people at the end of my videos, check to see that you're still subscribed, as YouTube has unsubscribed tens of thousands of people without their knowledge or consent, and it's true. Because I've had thousands upon thousands of comments, people saying, "Oh wow, I didn't even think you were still making videos. Glad to have found you again." So this channel is Milk Toast Joe Blow. Yeah, it is Milk Toast. It's not hardcore, but you know, any dissenting voice is to be shadow banned. And yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, I at 20, my channel started in 2016, and by 2019, it went from 0 to about 500,000, and it's been stuck there. So I'll gain a few subscribers, and whatever I gain, they'll take away. So it's been dead straight at 500,000 subscribers for 6 years now. And the problem with that is that it just can't grow. It can't be seen. It's not recommended. You know, this is what YouTube does, and what they've done is you'll also notice is that even if somebody watches a video such as mine, they'll always at the end, they'll never be recommended another video by me, never, or anybody else that's more or less you know, a content creator. It'll always either be Sky News or Jordan Peterson. Sky News, Jordan Peterson, and or Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, Jordan Peterson, Sky News. That's all you're going to get. And it's kind of interesting because prior to Susan Wojcicki, may she rest in not peace, she was the one at the time back before 2020. The legacy media wasn't getting any kind of viewership on YouTube. Like I could make a video and I could get 10 times whatever CNN was getting, 10 times whatever MSNBC was doing, 10 times. And what she did was called, we are going to raise authoritative voices. We're going to raise them and suppress content creators. And this is what has happened. And now you'll see, you know, Anderson Cooper or CNN, you know, they'll do something and their views, since this algorithmic fix or change, the mainstream media on YouTube, it gets all of the views, and content creators like myself that have been tagged as being problematic have been pretty much crushed. You'll see it even I mean, what you'll also see is that they'll recommend the far left. They have the recommendations, and I'm thinking this more or less has to do with the employees at YouTube who tweak the algorithm in that respect. So you'll see just absolute I don't even want to call these out, but anyway, not the best of people will get stuff. So yeah, my channel is completely shadow banned. I'm surprised I can even get an audience on here at all in any way. Question. Did you use GPT to help write any of your scripts this year? No, I didn't, but I have moved to Grok for my thumbnails. I don't really need GPT because I don't know if it would agree with me. And generally my scripts, they're not that difficult to write. You know, they take, you know, I look at a bunch of different ideas, and interestingly, I noticed that, you know, I think I'm going to be moving more over to my Felix Rex channel. I think this channel is pretty much, the shadow banning has become so extreme that it's not even almost possible at this point to continue along on this channel. So I'm going to probably, as I said, I'm going to move more onto Rumble. And I don't know why. This is something Stefan Molyneux, and he got really upset by it. And because he said I didn't get deplatformed. I was re-platformed when he was re-platformed onto other things. And people, for some reason, are, you know, people are creatures of habit. I've been trying to get people to join me over on Rumble, and it's basically an impossibility. You might get a few hundred when you ask for it, but people just, they want to be on YouTube because it's a one click. If they have to do something and they have to click somewhere else, oh, that's just too much to ask, is what Stefan Molyneux, and he got really upset about it. And I just, to the point where okay, going to Stefan Molyneux, and I'm not at all bagging on him. I actually think Stefan Molyneux has a lot important to say, and I think that he should try to come back, because he's been given back his Twitter handle that was taken away prior to Elon Musk's acquisition of the platform, but he won't return because nobody there will apologize to him. And I think that's such a waste, because he has absolutely a lot of things to say, but he was very upset about the fact that people wouldn't just click on a button and watch his stuff on another thing. And I understand why he was upset, but you know, people are creatures of habit. It's difficult for them to do. Excuse me. So we've been going for how long now? Almost 1 hour. I'm going to do maybe 20 more minutes. So if you got any questions, super chats would be very, very helpful. I'd appreciate them. As I said, this channel is getting run into the ground, and it would be very appreciative. Let's see. And another question. Going to Star Wars Celebration in Tokyo. That's from Potter again. I didn't know there was a Star Wars Celebration in Tokyo. If you could leave me another comment telling me about it, I might. I generally don't like Disney, so if it's a Disneyland, I won't go. And I won't go just because I won't give them money. So no. I prefer my rips and stuff. Let's see. Black Pigeon, Ruth Westheimer, the old cutie. Not really sure who that one is. Chris has two of the same names. Yeah, Chris Christopherson. I always find that kind of interesting when parents give their kids, you know, like Jimmy James, or, you know, Bobby Bob, you know. John Ashley Smith. Okay, I know this one. Oh, me and Bobby McGee. Oh, is that Simon and Garfunkel? No, help me out, John. Me and Bobby McGee. I know that one. Let's see. Life is short. Break the bank and travel the world. Yeah, that's kind of my philosophy. And once you're out there, it's actually not that expensive. I mean, you'd be surprised how cheap, you know, it is outside of places like the United States and the UK and Australia or Canada. You'd be shocked how cheap it is to get along. And life is short, you know. You're watching, for example, if you're not, there's a video I made last night. I put it out about, I don't know, 12 hours ago. And I'm talking about how, you know, pretty much if you're not in the top 1%, you're getting killed by the cost of living increases. I mean, the cost of a house, the cost of a car, the cost of health insurance, the cost of education, the cost of everything across the board, prior even to the great inflationary pressures that have been put on since 2020 and the turning the money printer on and going brr, and reducing the power of the dollar, the pound, the Canadian dollar, the Australian dollar, what have you, in the free government handouts. It's getting harder and harder to live. The cost of because people's incomes are nowhere near keeping up with the cost of living. So it's absolutely retarded in that respect. Oops, shouldn't have said that, but it's you know, it's from my generation to say things like that. This comes back. This channel is very milk toast. Why would you get shadow banned? Well, I agree. It is fairly milk toast. It didn't used to be though. But it's still it's not hardcore. But as I said, anything that isn't fully embracing globalism and all of the associated Felger carp, using one of my favorite words, If somebody can give me where that word comes from, Felger carp, I'll send you a Japanese. I'll send you something from Tokyo. Let's see. Showing. Here you go. Showing 2 likes for me. Seems rigged. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. I'd like to see Elon buy YouTube. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, well, to be honest, if you use this name here for Dr. Jordan Peterson, the Great, which I don't, he'll block you instantly. He doesn't like people pointing out his ideological shift once he got his large paychecks from Ben Shapiro. So from Samantha, I do miss it when YouTube gave good recommendations. It's been a long time. Most channels I loved are long gone now. Yeah, that's probably it. Most of them are either been shadow banned, they might still be there, or long gone. YouTube basically will recommend. Again, as I said, once you watch this video, you're going to have recommendations for either far left, or you're going to have for CNN, MSNBC, or content creators Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, and Dave Rubin. You figure it out. Let's see. Let's get something else on here. Replace the sharing screen. This guy's, I don't know why we're looking at him. Let's see. Might still have this. Somebody still sharing that? Yeah. Yeah, I'll just come back myself then. All right, so let's get back to here. I'm going to do, it's been going I'll go for another 15 minutes. So if you've got any super chats, it'd be appreciated, or any other questions going in there. Let's see. Peterson's handler is his daughter. Well, this is the thing about Jordan Peterson. He's a person that has said to people that they need to. Oh, hold on a sec. I got something here I can put up, because just watching me is not that nice. Let's just put this up. Yeah. All right. Jordan Peterson talks about personal responsibility and get your act together, bucko. And I do appreciate his biblical lectures, and but I do think that he his merging of personal help guruism, his philosophical psychiatric, or not psychiatrism, his breakdown of biblical things, but also then inserting his politics. People, because they worship, especially young men, I've noticed it's somewhat of a cult of Jordan Peterson. The cult of Peterson is because they think that he somehow saved their lives with the 12 steps, that his politics then are necessarily almost coming down from the mountain as though he was Moses or Jesus or God, even handing down the truth to his disciples. But his politics are very, very, very detrimental to young Western men. And I don't think he is somebody that should be listened to outside of his field at all. And I think Jordan Peterson, for example, talks about taking personal responsibility. But since his benzo incident, where he flew to Moscow and was put into an induced coma so he wouldn't have to deal with the withdrawals of his drug addiction, doesn't really tend to speak highly of somebody that you should be listening to for personal advice on personal responsibility. Now, and don't get me wrong, I'm not some arbiter of what is right, wrong, what is good or bad. But I don't ever give any kind of advice telling people how they should live their lives, because I'm not a person that can say I live my life in any way that should be exemplified or as a template for any others. And that's the difference. I find Jordan Peterson in his field to be quite well educated and erudite, but I think his insertion of his politics, which now basically his political stances seem to be completely bought and paid for by his employer, Ben Shapiro. And I actually, coming back to Peterson Handler, is his daughter. Even on Twitter, it was funny because about a year ago, he was in Belfast, or no, not a year. It's probably November or December of the 2023, after the engagement in the conflict in the Middle East there. And he posted a thing in Belfast saying, well, we're not selling our tickets very well here in Belfast. I'm having my lecture. Maybe you guys can tell your friends to buy a ticket to my lecture. I'd appreciate it. And we'll give you guys a really, I can't do a Kermit voice, guys. I can't do it. They're like, we're in Belfast right now. We're trying to sell some tickets, bucko. I'm telling you, don't have the demon troll rats, the bedeviled eggs come, no, because I can't do it. I can't do it. Anyway, that was my attempt at an impersonation, which obviously fell flat on its face. But all I did was I reposted that, saying that Jordan Peterson seems to be having problems selling tickets to his Belfast, excuse me, to his Belfast lecture. Maybe it's because of his love for Bibi Netanyahu. Boom, immediately blocked. And I'm assuming, yeah, it was his daughter. And it's funny how his daughter has completely grifted an entire social media presence on being the daughter of Jordan Peterson, when this woman literally left her own. I mean, you have to look at Jordan Peterson's family his daughter left her husband to go and have an affair with Andrew Tate. And this is a guy talking about personal responsibility, man. The guy can't even keep his family together. So I'm not saying, again, there's anything wrong with, him in a self-induced coma in order to not have to deal with the withdrawal pangs of his drug addiction or of his daughter and her lascivious lifestyle. Fine. These people are, but don't preach. Don't preach to people on how to fix lives. Don't preach and tell people, you've got to get this stuff together, you bedeviled egg. It's not your accomplishments. It's you've got to do it for yourself, bucko, because no one's going to do it. It's not good. It's not good. See, if you're going to be presenting yourself publicly as a person of authority in this, then absolutely, at least try and publicly not be as messed up an individual as you are. And yeah, that's where I'd go with that. But yeah, again, in his profession and in his area of expertise, good guy. Gabarag Molyneux is still on. Yeah, you can find him on BitChute. He has a large Twitter handle, but he doesn't use it at all because they won't apologize to him. So let's see here. This is another thing. I've seen a lot of small channels with around 1,000 subs move to Rumble and gain a viewership over YouTube. Yeah, guys, I've said this. It's even running down below in the ticker there. I'm on Rumble. It's very easy to find me. Felix Rex Rumble. All of my videos that I produce, I'm live streaming over there right now. All of the videos I produce are also posted there first. So just go to Rumble. I'm also going to be having Rumble and Odyssey only streams where I can go back to speaking about things without always having to self-censorship, because it's quite an annoying thing to constantly have to be able to be policing your own vocabulary, your own thoughts in order to stay on this because you have reach. And this goes back to, again, well, my reach has declined, precipitously. But as Molyneux said, people are too habitualized to their own thing, and they don't want to, click, to another thing. So try and go on over there. Let's see. I don't really. So Molyneux is pretty much behind a paywall now. I didn't know that, actually. So I'll do that. Okay, let's go for another 10 minutes. Let's see. Gonna go through. Odyssey has memes. Yeah, I like Odyssey, actually. I really do. I hope that they can keep it going. What do Canadians think about becoming the 51st state? I have no idea. I haven't been to Canada in years now, so I wouldn't be able. So maybe some people in the in the chat can help you out on that. I should, because people seem to always confuse my. I do have a very strange kind of warped nationality. My mother was British. I was born in the United States and raised there till I was a younger person, and I then mostly grew up in Canada, and I left Canada as a young adult. So I would consider myself mostly Canadian, but the difference between Canadian and the United States, or an American, at least on the border regions, whether that be, you know, from the Pacific Northwest all the way across to the Great Lakes. I don't know. I've never actually been to Toronto other than the airport. And then you have French Canada, but at least from Lake Superior on over, I think culturally and even linguistically, because I can go into the United States and almost invariably, I think perhaps my accent has changed somewhat since I've left North America, but I can still go back and nobody knows that I'm not from, if I go to Canada or I go to the United States, everyone just assumes I'm from there. And to answer your question, if I gave my own opinion, what do Canadians think about becoming the 51st state? I think it would be the best thing that could possibly happen in Canada. Canada, insofar as where it's been for the last 10 years, especially under the premiership of Justin Castro, it's just headed toward a failed state status. So just, I would say, let it die and, you know, be annexed by the United States. And I think I think that wouldn't be a bad thing, to be honest. I really don't think it would be a bad thing. I think it'd be an overall a good thing. The problem is that the United States would be gaining another California. So would the United States want it? I mean, you know, invariably Canada and the politics of most Canadians, especially those of the female persuasion, are very similar to that of your California voters. So would they really want that? Oh, I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's see. Bring back your What If History series. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that. I'm thinking about actually going into this new year of this channel just being live streams and news bits, and my other channel being programs like What Ifs and historical and other things that I find interesting. I've always found things like urban planning, things like historical what ifs, geography, power dynamics, geopolitics. I'm going to probably start putting those on my Felix Rex channel, and this one just be stuff like this, streaming and whatnot. Let's see. Let's see. Gotta give you credit for all but banning your channel. Thanks, Susan. Yeah, I know. Well, it was banned in 2019, and this is when audiences still had a voice, and there was thankfully a large ruckus that was put up, because this is before my channel was shadow banned, and enough people made a big enough amount of noise that it was brought back. But after that, it was then demonetized, and then the shadow banning began. So yeah, let's see. I remember you when you were skinnier. Yeah, I put on a little bit of weight, especially because of the medication I'm on. I've kind of made a video about that on about 3 or 4 videos ago. It's called Consciousness, the Reality Dream. The kind of medication I'm on makes me gain weight on my face. But hopefully I'll be able to taper it down soon and return back to my normal look. Let's see. Yeah, milk toast just means mild or bland, basically. I'd agree with that. Hopefully my channel isn't just milk toast. You know, I'd probably give that to people that you know, ride the ideological fence, you know, so hard it begs for lube. I mean, you guys could probably give some shout outs for that. I don't want to, you know, call out people that I would say that are you know, kind of for that. Let's see. I give Jordan Peterson a thumbs down all around. Yeah, this is one of his favorite things. He talks about not abusing people, but calls everyone who disagrees with him, "You're an evil rat, Beelzebub, you bedeviled egg, bucko." So yeah, it's one of those things. Let's see, from Liza Jean Williams, 12 Canadian dollars. Thank you very much. I met Peterson in Toronto when he was fighting hate speech laws in 2014. Since then, he has been screwed. My son-in-law's brother is the head of his security, and you would be shocked to know the truth. Well, do tell. I'm kind of interested. Do tell. Battlestar Galactica 2025. Wow, close, but that's not it yet. Let's see. Peterson's. Yeah, here's one. I wonder if Jordan's daughter washed Tate's member. I'm sure she did with glee until he basically did what he does. Michaela Peterson, which is Jordan Peterson's daughter, was defending H1B1. Anyway, and calling everyone. Yeah, of course she did, because her only and then as she's known, because she's also known for this because of her prescriptions were leaked. But yeah, of course she's doing this. I mean, she's basically, her father's been bought and sold by Ben Shapiro. What else is he gonna do? And then he cries. Yeah, his loss of control of his emotions is another thing I've noticed, especially since coming off of his benzos drug addiction. My favorite was when he was talking in Tel Aviv, or it might have been in Jerusalem, to an audience there, talking about how the state of Israel, the entire world looks to the state of Israel for its moral compass, and that's a hefty responsibility. And he just lost it and started crying, and that's a number of times. He starts crying. Let's see. Vicarious Zen Kiwi. I hate that my boomer dad has just started getting on the Jordan Peterson train now in 2024. Wow, that's a little bit late, and kind of missed that train when it was actually some train you'd want to be on. Let's see. Are you related to Tiborsaurus Rex? No, I'm not. Beware the purity spiral. Yes, absolutely, everybody. Beware that. The purity spiral being one, if anyone disagrees with you, even on the most minute of details, that you're going to then shun or disagree with them entirely. I would completely agree with that. Make sure that you do beware of the purity spiral. It's entirely true. Let's see, got another one. Thank you very much from Doc, by the way, or BTW, if that's I'm thinking. Thanks for what you do. Do you talk about gemstone files or similar things? I don't understand your shadow ban, but we'll watch on Rumble when not on my phone. Okay, yeah, I appreciate that. And no, I don't talk about the gemstone files. You probably have to fill me in on even what that is. So I appreciate it. Yeah. All Medicare does is make fun and ridicule people. Yeah, Mr. Medicare, and I'm glad that he's still alive. I've been on stream with him a few times. It was always on, I think it was on the Ralph Retort mostly, and it was when he was making fun of Mundane Matt, or Matt Jarbo. When Matt Jarbo, this is from the, anyone can help me out. I'm not even sure what that sector of the internet is called. I don't know, the drama sector of the internet. And there was a YouTube Jarbo, or Mundane Matt, and he adamantly said that he wasn't flagging his detractors and having their videos taken down, but he was caught on stream, and became known as Boulder Matt for a variety of reasons. But I haven't been on with Mr. Medicare since that time, and I think that's probably at least 4 years or so. So yeah, Mr. Medicare, he's if you're not aware of him, he's kind of an anonymous voice, but he's quite funny, really good internet chatter. I quite like him a lot. and I'm glad to see that he's still there. Canada is a failed state. Make if a U.S. state. Yes, and I agree. I said exactly that. Make Canada a 51st state. The only people that could possibly be negatively impacted are unfortunately Canada's cousins, the founding stock of the Americans, the American old stock Americans, because as I said, taking on Canada would be taking on, for the most part, another California. But I'm sure you could gerrymander the electoral districts in order to make it not so damaging. You could probably cut some of the provinces up. So, Ontario, so you give a larger voice to basically the rural votes, keep them away from the big cities like Vancouver and Toronto and Edmonton. And there'd probably be ways to decrease the detrimental effects of Canada joining the United States as a state. So, but as I said, I think the only way it would work would be to do something like that, or else the United States is just getting another California, which is not going to be good. Yeah, Minnesota is basically Canada. I agree. So are the Dakotas. So is Montana. So is Idaho, and so is Washington State. My brother actually, the last time I actually go to the United States quite often now. My parents are both passed away, so I pretty much visit my brothers, and my brother, he lives in Washington State, unfortunately outside of Seattle for his wife's job. Funnily enough, no, I won't dox him, but I quite like I like Washington State outside of Seattle. And this is a horrible thing to say, because back in 20 years ago, Seattle was a really nice city. It wasn't ideological. It wasn't expensive. It was a really nice place to be. And I was in Seattle quite a lot. Had a lot of friends there because, at the time I was living in Vancouver, and now my brother, he lives down there. So I'm in Seattle quite a lot. The one anecdote I would have on that is that it was at the end of COVID when they started to allow professional sports to reopen. I think that was 2022, maybe, or 2023. It was either last year or the year before. And my brother bought some tickets for the Seattle Mariner and Houston Astros, and it was the season opener. And we went to that. And I was just telling him, he got really kind of upset because I think he paid the cost of going to a sports ball event in the United States. It's just become completely ridiculous. And I was just noting that in Japan, when we were looking at the person that was selling the beer and the peanuts and the pretzels or whatever, walking up and down, it was this, unattractive man. And there was another quite unattractive woman doing the same. And I was telling him, in Tokyo, when you go to a baseball, they have an orchestra. They'll have a conductor that takes control of the fandom of the particular team in choreographed chants. You've got flags going on. You've got people in mascots costumes, and then all of the girls that serve beer are young and pretty. And when I was in this game, because I go to the sporting events just for the atmosphere. I don't care who wins; it doesn't make any difference to me. And he got kind of upset because it was the first game in a long while after the COVID scamdemic. Again, it was the Seattle Mariners versus the Houston Astros. Somebody can probably look that up. It was a good game though. North American Union is what they want. Yes, I completely agree with that. Can we use the Canadians to pay off our national debt? Well, yeah, why not? Sell them to China. Sell all the Canadians to China once you take the land, and they can go work in the factories, and and maybe they can cancel the debt out with China, and then if there's some left over, you can use it to pay it off. It's probably a win-win for the United States, that's for sure. So this is what, let's say, for example, Colonel Angus says Canada would vote Democrat for sure. That's a problem. That's exactly what I said. I would agree. So that's why you'd have to sort of redistrict the provincial politics of the country, where you would have to cordon off the cities like Vancouver, Victoria, Edmonton. I'm not actually sure how Winnipeg goes, but then all the way, I think you should just turn Toronto and the sort of the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area, into its own thing. I wouldn't even want to take that. So you just have to cut up the provinces into smaller portions in order to make it so that Canada didn't just turn the country into another, you wouldn't be just joining another California, because there are a lot of based Canadians, but they don't live in the cities. British Columbia has become a Chinese colony. Yeah, it's been one for a while. It's really unfortunate. That is where I grew up, and that's why it's just so sad. I could never go live there anymore. It's just gone. It's absolutely gone. There's a nice compliment from Joe Black. Your voice is strong. It's good for radio. Okay, well, I never even thought about that, but that's actually taken as it is, and very much appreciated. Let's see. Tim Pool is milk toast. Okay, we're getting a lot of this. Milk toast equals Tim Pool. Tim Pool means grift toast. So, yeah, Tim Pool is one of these I actually don't watch him. I think that he's one of these people that's also algorithmically boosted because he doesn't give off any kind of opinions that go counter signal to the globalist narrative, while at the same time just saying everything's complicated. He's not a bad person, but he's learned the shtick, and YouTube will provide him with an audience, and he's made out like a bandit for it. So good for him if he can, whatever. And then also people are saying, well, he works for Ben Shapiro now. Yeah, this is something people should understand, is that anyone who is milk toast, like Tim Pool, like Jordan Peterson, like all of them, they'll all end up working for Ben Shapiro, so he can control, him and his organization can control voices that would perhaps not be as kind to him and his views if staying independent. What's here? What went wrong with Lauren Southern? I don't really. I've stayed out of talking about the whole controversy with Lauren Southern. I'm not going to really get into that, only because I do know her, and I don't think she's a bad person. I mean, I do find her recent liaisons with Destiny, and I'm not even sure how that corresponds with her timing with Destiny's liaisons with Nick Fuentes, whether that's true or not. But all of the different things. I think one of the things is that I hate to say it, but one of the things is a lot of men, they like to hear pretty women speak politically and agree with women who say things that they agree with. And I think that that's part of, I mean, you'll see it. There'll be a young, pretty woman who will take her place very, very soon. And it's not that I wish her well. I don't think she's a bad person. I think she's probably just made a few personal mistakes, and we all do, and I don't think she tried to publicize these mistakes. They just kind of spilled out. So it's personal problems, and it's not my business. Let's see. Dave Rubin is matzo toast. I haven't watched any of his stuff. What went wrong with Lauren Chen? I don't know, Lauren. I think, I would say about her is that she's another one of these pretty young women. Men like to hear opinions that they agree with coming from the voice of a pretty young woman. And not because that they have the political acumen or even understand what they're talking about, and a lot of times they'll go even overboard because they don't even really understand the sort of boundaries of political discourse. With Lauren Chen, two things. First of all, I think that her and her husband must be very, very greedy, because you'd have to be asking questions. Well, and this is where I honestly, going into the Russia scandal thing, is that you can't you can't be taking $10 million from some Russian source and then handing out, for example, to Tim Pool, $100,000 per video and not think that there's some sort of fishiness behind it. Because even if all of the residual money, whether it be from YouTube AdSense or Super Chat, whatever, there's, and also not providing any kind of brand recognition, you're not providing a commercial, you're not promoting anything, you're not even saying anything, but yes, we're just going to get $100,000 per video for no reason. This is, I mean, you're absolutely, I'm not going to use the R word, but you are naive, and your greed has taken control of your brain functions. However, you know, the thing is that Russia, I mean, supposedly paying off, you know, web creators or whatever. I mean, what is Ben Shapiro? What is AIPAC? I mean, the biggest sort of controlling interest in American politics as a foreign entity is Israel. I mean, that's not even control. It's not controversial at all. So, yeah, maybe Lauren Chen and her group, Tim Pool, Lauren Southern, I can't remember who the other ones were greedy, you know, didn't use their brains. Why am I getting paid $100,000 per video without actually even promoting anything? Yeah, I mean, so with Lauren Chen, I think it's agreed. I mean, she's obviously just disappeared once news of this was released onto the internet. She's nowhere to be found since September, I believe it was. So I don't really know what happened to her. But you'd have to be basically in the low digits, you know, low double-digit IQ to not actually ask questions of where all of this money is coming from. If they're not even asking for any kind of ad, they're not asking for any kind of anything. Well, I have complete, as Tim and Lauren and all of them have come back as outraged. I have complete authority over all of the content I make. Well, okay, sure, fine. But if you did, and you didn't even, you know, give a call out for a brand or anything, why are you getting paid? Kind of makes it a little bit weird. Okay, let's, if you've got any questions left to get in or any super chats, just plugging that, it'd be appreciated. And thanks also very much to those that you that have contributed and helped support the channel. It's very much appreciated. There's also ways of supporting the channel, I should say, on Subscribestar, Coffee, Ko-fi, Locals, and on my own homepage, felixrex.net. And with that, you can also join my Discord. And in that Discord, we have our we haven't had them for a while because I've been on the road, but we're going to restart having them again, of our weekly group hangouts and chats and other sort of things. So you can join that sort of community with support to the channel. Again, Subscribestar, Locals. I was thrown off of Patreon. Funny story is that it was at the beginning of the Ukraine war. I mean, they were just, again, looking for a reason to get rid of me. It's the same thing as YouTube shadow banning. I did a video, I walked around Tokyo, and it was right at the beginning of the Ukraine-Russian conflict. And there was a group of Ukrainian expats that were in Tokyo, probably students, I would imagine, that were protesting in a place called Shibuya. If you've ever seen any videos of Tokyo, it's the place where they have this large crosswalk. I don't know, 1 million people cross it per day. And I just basically went through the Japanese law that they don't allow foreigners to engage in political action within their country. And I said, well, they're not going to be arrested per se, but they are going to have Japanese police there surveilling who is and who is not engaging in political action. And once those people go to have their visas renewed, they will be rejected and deported. And because of that, Patreon used that as an excuse, saying that I encouraged not integration, I'm looking for the word, separatism, segregation. I encouraged segregation, and therefore they canceled my Patreon, and so that was canceled. And I had my first Instagram canceled as well. and it had like 20,000 followers, and they never said why. And it's just like this Instagram I have right now. I got kicked off of Linktree for no reason. I mean, Linktree, you just put your links on there. So, you know, people are asking about the shadow ban. Yeah, I've been shadow banned on, I mean, it's not as bad as others, but it's, you know, still it's frustrating. I got shadow banned on YouTube horrifically, then demonetized. Well, first deleted, then brought back, then demonetized, then shadow banned. I got kicked off of Linktree, got kicked off of Patreon, got kicked off of Instagram. And it's just insane, you know, having to deal with these things because you're just, all you do is, you know, have a disagreement on the political trajectory of your country or your society. But this is where we are. This is where we are. Let's see. Okay. Pattern noticer. No comment. If you want to leave one there, I just want to say thanks. That's very appreciated. It's very much appreciated. Let's see. If you want a pattern notice or leave a comment, I'll bring that up as well as we close this down fairly soon. Scott B says, yeah, you would be good at recording selling voiceovers. Okay, I've never even thought about that. Maybe I'll look into that. That kind of not a bad idea. Can we just take the Quebecois women? I would agree with that. I did 1 year of high school, my 11th, my grade 11 in Montreal, actually. And my Lord, it was good. So you'd be about 16 at that age. And they have their corner stores in Montreal are called dépanneurs. And, you know, I was 16. I could go in there, get alcohol. I don't even know if they had drinking ages even now. So you could get alcohol. You could go to nightclubs at 16. I mean, the place Montreal and the Quebecois women, because if there is a nation, in North America, it is the Quebecois. They are ethnically the progeny of the original 10,000 French settlers of that era. After the British took control of North America, they were kind of confined there, and as a population grew from the original people. And so I would say they have, as a group and as a nation, as an ethnic group, the Quebecois have produced some of the most beautiful women on the planet. Talking about as a sort of a bookend to the beginning of this live broadcast, I was talking about how London is probably one of the most ugly cities for women on the entire planet. I mean, there are gems, but I mean, it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack in London. Whereas, you know, you go to a place like Montreal, you get whiplash from you know, looking from left to right of all the pretty girls that you have there. Let's say, going back, Tim Pool isn't milk toast. Okay, I don't know if that's true or not. I cannot tolerate the beanie. So I guess he's talking about Tim Pool. Tim Pool wears, I'll give you guys a cultural or a linguistic or a vocabulary tip. The beanie in Canada is called the toque. The toque. And it's funny because I didn't know that until, I don't know, probably into my 20s, that the toque is actually a French-Canadian word for beanie. But it's used across Canada. Canada, it's not called a beanie. It's called a toque. And also, it's kind of funny is uncircumcised penises at school were also called toques. Oh, Alistair's got a toque. When you go into, you know, when you have your PE class and you go to the showers, oh, Alistair's got a toque. Oh, you know, he's got a toque. So I don't even know why you'd want to bring that up. But anyway, let's see. Lauren Southern's career went south. I'm not sure. Is she still making stuff? Imagine letting destiny inside of you. Yeah, that is, I think, where a lot of people are kind of, you know, because I mean, at the same time, I mean, I don't know Destiny. I don't know him personally, but he's very public about his preferences and his predilections. And let's just say I'm not going to even give any kind of opinion on those, but it's generally not something that you'd probably be looking for in a mate if you're a single mother. So, but then again, women tend to do things that are kind of hard to understand and don't really make a lot of sense. And yeah, I agree. This is somebody, this is Ryan Young. Can we end the gossip? Yeah, I agree. This is, as I said to everyone before, I mean, this is people's personal lives. Whereas Jordan Peterson has preached to his audience on how to live the perfect life, and this is why he gets backlash from his audience. People like Lauren Southern and her personal choices of husband, of becoming one of Destiny's women. That's her personal choices, and they're not public. And I don't think she ever meant to make them public. So talking about her personal life in that respect is not really, it's not beneficial, let's just say. Okay, we're gonna wind it down. Last 5 minutes, guys. If you've got any super chats or any questions I can take, leave them there. I'd appreciate it very much. So just another sort of statement. You've got a voice for radio. Well, thanks. I never even thought of that. So I should maybe think of that. I don't even know. I don't think anyone would hire me at this point, given that given the kind of flack that I've received from a lot of different, even the New York Times has written a puff piece based on some crap academic post or academic paper that was written by me by some shill that used to work for the Bernie Sanders campaign. And, this guy was just looking for work. I made a video about it years ago, but I mean, just the one thing that you'll notice, and I should probably point this out, is never talk to journalists. I never would. But also that what you hear about people necessarily isn't the truth. Is one person says something, then the next person quotes that person, and once that person has been quoted as quoting the first person, then it just becomes a reality. So you could say Bob is red, and then the next person votes, but Bob is blue. Let's say Bob is blue, and somebody says, well, Bob is red, and then the next person quotes the first person saying Bob is red. Well, Bob is a liar. Bob isn't blue. Bob is red, and then that becomes literal truth to people, and it's quite disgusting seeing it and being on the other end of it. It's quite gross. So yeah, and I would say just one question for you guys going back, because we're talking about, I see like Bob and Doug McKenzie in the chat, and Viva la Toque. Viva la toque. Exactly. I still call it the toque. I can't wrap my mouth around calling it a beanie. It just sounds kind of weird. I think about putting a bean on the top of my head rather than a beanie. And I think Tim Pool, I don't know why he wears that thing. I've actually seen him in photographs in a suit, and he's still wearing a beanie. I don't know why that is. Is that his personal trademark? Because I mean, he wears it in the summertime too. So, I mean, even if it's a trademark, it must be uncomfortable. Does anyone know why he wears that? I mean, it is a trademark, but at times, I mean, for example, I mean, I don't really have a trademark. I wear, unfortunately, I've had to start wearing glasses now for about 4 years because my eyes are precipitously getting worse. But anyway, does anyone know why Tim wears that? Because I mean, I can understand if it's his trademark, but why would you wear it in summer or with a suit? Is the one I don't know about. Let's see. This to me throw here. Yeah, that's true. Look at 90s Sarah Silverman. Better yet, don't look at Sarah Silverman. She's an old lady now. Well, actually, weirdly enough, I have been rewatching old episodes of Star Trek, and I can't remember if it was Deep Space Nine or if it was Voyager. I think it was Deep Space Nine, and they do some sort of time travel back to the 1990s, and young Sarah Silverman was in it, and I thought she was actually really pretty. However, having gotten to know her via her opinions that are splashed out on the on the media. She's quite an ugly person on the inside. But when she was young, she was actually very pretty. But yeah, she's not that good. Let's see. Okay, this is actually quite nice. Love the content. Top 3 channels in terms of quality for sure. Happy to see you're finally making videos semi-regularly. Yeah, I've just run into time. Yeah, I made a lot of videos this month. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that a little bit more. Celine Dion. I don't know. I think I saw that she's not doing very well lately. Celine Dion being the Quebecois lady singer, I think famous for her, what was it, the Titanic song? Can't remember what. Here, there, wherever you are, I don't know the lyrics to the song. Anyway, this right here, the red ensign. That is the real flag of Canada, everyone. That is the real flag of Canada. Anyone who I don't even consider the leaf to be Canadian at all. Not that I have any sort of pretenses toward any kind of patriotism to Canada, because I don't. Canada is just it's a country that just, I mean, it could have saved itself in the 90s and it chose to go the other way, and it went that way. So it's a done deal. It's finished. Let's see. Got another question. Are you expecting a false flags in 2025? Yes, of course. I think so. I think so. I think 2025, guys, is going to be a transformative year. The United States is adding $1 trillion to its deficit every less than every 100 days now, every 90 days. The country is definitely in trouble, and the rest of the Western world is falling apart. Germany, the economic engine of Europe, is at 0% growth. They're politically, in terms of German politics, is becoming politically unstable. I see the United Kingdom, which I just was in, is basically a failing state. So yeah, there's going to be shenanigans and shenaniganry all around. I think 2025 will be somewhat of a transformative year going forward. The beanie suit. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I keep getting one of these. He's totally bald. He's bald. He's balding? Oh, Tim, is this true? Male pattern balding. He's fully bald. Male. Okay, so everyone. He's fully bald. He wears it for disguise. No joke. Okay, guys. All of us guys, I think something like 75% of us are going bald. I mean, if I look at my own hairline to where it was when I was, 19, it's definitely going. But I mean, so balding is just part of being, a man. I have no problem with balding men, but I'm going to go back. It's because, is this true, guys? I mean, are you guys just all making this up? Because he's totally bald. He wears the hat because he's bald. Like that I kind of find that hard to believe that somebody would wear something like that. And oh wow. Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to believe it. Okay, I just find that kind of hard to believe that somebody would wear that hat in the summertime because they're losing their hair. I mean, we're all losing our hair, guys. Unfortunately, I think there's only like 10% of us that don't. Again, from Pattern Noticer, very much thanks. Thank you very much. In Bangkok soon. If you're still there, let me buy you a beer or 3 in person instead of a super chat. Absolutely. Supposedly, the Tim Pool beanie is hiding total baldness. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to go with that, guys. It seems like there's too many people that have voiced in, sort of put their thing in that this is the truth. Pattern Noticer, I'm going to be in Thailand for the next couple of weeks. When are you coming? Because just email me at navyhato@gmail.com and maybe we can work something out. That'd be good. Appreciate that. That's very nice. Let me see. Spanky, oh, thank you so much. $5 US. Good to see you again soon. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. Thank you for disseminating the hard and sometimes necessary truths for many years now. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's very kind, and it's good. It's good. I appreciate that. Let's get on here. Okay, I believe everybody. Tim Pool is bald, thus the beanie to hide it. Doc, by the way. Thanks for the chat, super chat. Appreciate it very, very much. Okay, I did not see that. I honestly did not see that. But then again, I mean, I don't know why you do that. We all, as I said, men, we're all going, other than maybe 10% of us, we're all going bald, right? And it also doesn't even matter your race. You see bald guys in Japan. You see bald guys in all around the world. You see black bald guys. You see Indian bald guys. Sorry, I'm getting a little tongue tied there. That's quite weird. Let's see. Going back to the red ensign, yeah, his right here, Canada's coat of arms incorporates the red ensign. And there used to be, when I was a kid, they'd say if you're not part of the Canada, so the Canadian coat of arms. Let me see if I can pull that up. There it is. Let's bring that up. So the Canadian coat of arms here, it's actually a really nice one. Kind of interesting, actually. I'll just do this as well. You can see where it comes from. Okay, hold on a sec. Let's look at the replace that. You can see, well, this is the coat of arms of the United Kingdom right here. You have on the left, you have a lion. So he's kind of cool looking. He's a lion and he's got a crown. And you've got the shield there, and you've got the crown and a knight's costume, a knight's helmet with a little lion and a unicorn on the right. So you can kind of see where the Canadian, I actually think that they're basically the same. I think even the mottos might be the same. Hold on. No, they're not. Both Latin mottos, mind you. So again, you've got the lion, the knight, the helmet of the knight, and the lion on top and the unicorn on the right. And for the Canadian, you have pretty much the same thing. You've got it. So it's not a very original coat of arms. I think it's actually stylized a little nicer. You've got, oh God, fuck. Yeah, well, I don't want that. Ooh, okay, well, I can't get rid of that thing there. You've got, so you've got the same thing. You've got a lion on the left, a unicorn on the right. You've got the shield, and you've got the lion on top, and the lion is holding a little maple leaf with the crown on top. And you've got the motto, A Mary Usk Admar, it's from sea to sea. And you have what are the two founding peoples of Canada. On the left, you've got the UK, and on the right, you've got France. And on the shield, you've got, let me see, on the shield, you've got the coat of arms of, let's see, get a better picture. You've got the lions, you've got of Scotland, England, Ireland, and France. So I remember being a kid, and when I was a kid, they said, if you're not on that, then you're not Canadian, if you're not represented by the Canadian coat of arms. So you've got the United Kingdom, France, Scotland, Ireland, France. Yeah. So if you're not on there, you're not Canadian. Is how it went when I was a kid. So so there it is. I think it's quite a nice coat of arms. If it's not original so much, I do like the Australian coat of arms. I think it's got an emu and a kangaroo on it. At least it's kind of neat. I don't know why they didn't put a polar bear and a beaver or something on it. That kind of would have been cool, just copying almost wholesale the lion and the unicorn of the British. I think a beaver and a polar bear might have been a cooler look to that thing. Let's see what else. Oh, okay. Okay, this seems to have been settled. Adam, Tim's former co-host, says he doesn't wear the beanie when off air, but yes, okay. That seems too bad. I mean, I could be in a few years. I probably not, but the receding is definitely happening. Okay, everyone is just going in and in and in on this. Probably just all right. So let's see if there's any more super chats or any questions. Somebody said this in Canada, it's a moose and beaver instead of a lion and a unicorn. Yeah, just the lion and unicorn look like a moose and a beaver. I agree. They should have used domesticated animal, not domesticated animals, but animals that live in the country. A moose would have been good. A polar bear, a beaver, an elk. I don't know, a puma. You want something like fierce, put a puma or a mountain lion in there. Actually, as far as I understand as well, there's more bald eagles that live in Canada because they weren't all hunted as they were in the United States. So there's a lot more bald eagles. I mean, bald eagles were everywhere where I grew up. And to be fair, I mean, the bald eagle looks really, really cool, but it's nothing but a glorified seagull. It's not something, like a real predator or eagle that goes after. I mean, you've got some of these hawks in the Rocky Mountains, going from British Columbia, I think, all the way down to Colorado, where they can get, one of these mountain goats. I don't know if people haven't been to the Rocky Mountain areas of North America. It's quite neat in the sense where, you'll be driving through them and then there'll be like a herd of these mountain goats going through. You got to stop your car, you get out these things. I don't know, man. They just don't seem to really care about humans. But you'd be looking at almost a sheer cliff like that. And these goats will be on there. And you ask yourself, how did you get there? How did you get there, goat? It's almost as mystifying to the human mind as like thinking about Justin Trudeau being the substitute drama teacher and part-time ski instructor. How did you get to be Prime Minister of Canada? How many times did you? Yeah, but it's almost as mystifying as Justin Castro being the Prime Minister of Canada. Is how did the goat get there? But there are hawks that can go flying, and they'll pick these things up. Can't really carry them and then drop them. So when they drop, they fall to their deaths, and then they can eat them. Seagulls, as far as I know, I mean, about their predatory powers or predatorial powers are probably only insofar as scooping up fish. So they're basically just, they're seagulls. They're glorified seagulls. A shaved beaver. Now that would be a great animal to put on the coat of arms of Canada. A shaved beaver. I think that would be quite amazing. I think it would be a standout, but I don't think it would suit Canada very as much as you think it would, given the sort of predilections and the political pomposity of many Canadian people. So yeah, yeah, I would say Trudeau's unicorn. Yeah, I would agree with that as well. Let's see. Somebody's saying bald eagles sound like seagulls, not like the red-tailed hawk that make out. Yeah, exactly. So bald eagles, they're more like yeah. They don't. You're right. They don't even sound like eagles. They sound like seagulls. So it's kind of I don't know. I know it's not true, and it's been a sort of an urban myth for I don't know forever. That I think it was Benjamin Franklin when they were trying to come up with the national bird of the United States. And of course, it was always going to be an eagle because of the emulation of the United States and its founding as attempting to sort of emulate Rome. I mean, you can see the sort of markers of that are everywhere, from the architecture of Washington, D.C., federal buildings across the country. I mean, they're all built in the Greco-Roman style, all the way down to the sort of busts that you see on the coin. Like, take out a quarter out of your pocket, flip it over, look at George Washington. I mean, it looks like a Roman bust. It could be Caesar. And of course, they were going to take the eagle, because the Romans had the eagle as their totem animal on their I guess they weren't a country on their imperial flags and on their imperial accoutrements. But I did read that Benjamin Franklin, and I know it's not true, that it's an urban rumor, urban legend, that he thought that the turkey would have been a good animal to use for the United States, and I would agree with that. The turkey is a very unique bird. He's tough, he gobbles, and he's quite cool looking. So I mean, it's really unfortunate that the turkey, the North American turkey, lost out. But you knew he was going to, because I mean, I guess that sort of, I don't even know. Maybe somebody in the chat could explain that thing that goes over his beak when he gobbles. It's kind of weird. He's kind of neat looking, and he would have made a good one. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna close it out here. Let's see. Yep, Canada settled because of rodents. You could make really sweet hats from. Hold on a second. Beavers, though. Yeah, we settled because of rodents. Okay, yeah, you could make sweet hats out of beavers. But when I was younger, I used to go, I don't even know if they have these anymore, but these IMAX cinemas. And they'd almost invariably be something that was like a National Geographic. They would be on, I don't know. I think I saw one on penguins. And after I saw that, because I always thought penguins were these kind of strange little birds, because when they walk, they just kind of sort of scuttle along, but actually once they get in the water, they're like torpedoes, and they can turn on a dime, and they're really, really neat creatures. And I gained an appreciation for penguins after that IMAX cinema feature. But I also watched one on beavers, and I didn't realize just how industrious beavers are. Beavers are quite. I mean, I even saw that if they're lazy beavers, because their teeth never stop growing because they're always biting on trees and making dams, that if they stop biting trees, their teeth will grow in, and they'll basically puncture their brain, and they'll die. But they create environments for all of the other, through their dam making, they create little micro environments that help all the other animals in the forest. They prepare for winter, so while all the other animals are out, freezing to death under the snow, they're inside their nice little dam house, keeping cozy and stuff. So they're actually really quite cool animals. It's funny. All you need to do is change your opinion on certain animals by watching an IMAX feature. It's quite incredible on that. All right. Let's see. I'm going to go in about 5 minutes. Any last questions? Any last super chats? It would be appreciative if you have any. And so, because I've already been going for 2 hours, so I think my voice is starting to do it. Let's see. From Joe Blow, turkeys are smart and very tough. If you've ever tried to hunt them, you'll learn quick. Yeah, I've heard this. I've heard the same thing, that turkeys are really, really clever. And the other thing I was saying about they're smart. And that's the thing. Once you start reading about them, and this is another thing. Hold on a second. Just trying to get it up so you guys don't think that I'm making this up. And you'll see this already happening in the media. And the reason I bring it up is because I was in Istanbul yesterday. I arrived in Bangkok this morning. Sorry, not this morning, yesterday. So I've been in Bangkok now for 24 hours. Right here. So the State Department will begin spelling Turkey as Turkey. So what I read was that the Turks were getting so upset with the fact that, Turkey being the bird, but also, for example, when you people in English, when you use the word turkey, like you can talk about Turkey as being something like a boondoggle. Oh, that was that new Korean car. What a turkey. Meaning, not good, not good quality. There's a number of sort of disparaging ability to use the word turkey in the English language, that none of them are in any way complimentary. And so for that reason, and this is the thing too, they've changed the name from at least the spelling, and you'll see this already in media, that Turkey is, and I don't even know how they're going to be telling people to spell it like this: Turkey with T-U umlaut R-K-I-Y-E. I guess they got the idea from Kiev, suddenly becoming Kyiv, Kyiv. I don't know. Only really. Anyway, I won't go on to that. But the funny part is that I actually even looked this up. So Turkey, even on my keyboard, I don't have a thing that can create an umlaut for the U, for the Turkey, because I've got a a standard Latin keyboard. And this is another thing that I also find that's quite interesting. And I looked it up because I see all of these American celebrities now using accent aigus or umlauts on their names. And you're American, you're born in the United States. These aren't used in English. You don't use accent marks. And even other than, I think, Hawaii and about 2 or 3 other states, these accent aigus, if they're not like ABC 1, 2, 3, I'm sorry, no, you can't even use 1, 2, 3. If they're not ABC XYZ, you're not allowed to use them in a name. You're only allowed, and even hyphens, you're not allowed to use in a name when naming children. When you're naming children, and you can't use numbers. Even like some names, like Jesus Christ, are illegal, right? But there's about 3 states where you're allowed to have, and you're not allowed to have characters like, I don't know, punctuation marks or at marks or whatnot. But in the United States, in names, on official documents of anything, you can't have any of these accent marks like this here, Turkey with the umlaut, because we don't use it. So what you will do is notice all of these kind of celebrities. They like to use these things to make themselves look foreign and therefore look more unique. I mean, I find it kind of interesting because you'll even find Americans, they'll listen to English people who basically have the IQ of a head of lettuce. And because they're speaking with British accents, and not even sometimes posh British accents, but because they speak with British accents, somehow they're perceived as being more intelligent because of that. And I think that kind of is referenced as well back into the use of accent marks on people's names. So, let's see a couple more here. All right. I still pronounce it Kiev. Yeah, me too. I don't know anyone that would say Kiev, and if they do, they're just a creature of the media, because it is Kiev and it's always been Kiev. So, for example, I'm in Bangkok right now. I mean, what a name for a city with the reputation it has. Yes, I'm in Bangkok, Thailand, but actually, the name in Thai for Bangkok is Krung Thep, and then about 20 other words. I think it's like a 20-word name, but the name for Bangkok is Krung Thep. So we use Bangkok in English the same way. For example, we say for Venezia, we say Venice. For Rome, we say Rome, not Roma. We don't say Köln, we say Cologne. We have a lot of these things. We don't say Nippon or Nihon, we say Japan. And we've had these English variants on all of these names for forever. But we're fighting the Russians again, so we're going to change the we demand that you call it Kyiv, not Kiev, Kyiv. So yeah, it's kind of silly. And the same thing with Turkey, guys. I mean, what are you going to do? Yeah, exactly. What are you going to call it? A jive ass Turkey? Right, you jive ass Turkey. Yeah, so I guess it is. Okay, guys, we're at about 2 hours and 10 minutes or so. So, from Bangkok, I'm going to say goodbye. I want to say Happy New Year to all of you that have been here, and thanks. I mean, this is a kind of an off-the-cuff live stream, but as I said, for any of those of you who haven't been with us the whole time, I'm probably going to start using this channel just for news and live streams, and my other channel, Felix Rex, for more of the sort of short documentary, more interesting kind of things that I like to produce, that obviously it seems like a lot of people are not really interested in, but I'll produce them anyway over on my other channel. felixrex.net is my homepage. You can find me there. If you'd like to help the channel, you can help me on support it. It's very much appreciated, as I've been kicked off almost everything shadow banned. Subscribestar, Ko-fi, Locals, and my homepage, felixrex.net. You can help support me there. Also, you can find a link in the description to some of my merchandise. I'm going to be adding some new ones soon, but you can find some cool hats, stickers, t-shirts. That also helps really much support the channel, and that would be very much appreciated. And also, I want to say thanks again for being here, and also that this is going to become more of a regular thing now that I have the time to do so. Hoping to do live streams. I'm hoping to do them at least a couple times a week now, and retool this channel more in terms of being a news aggregator, but not so much. I'm not going to be going. I'm not going to be trying to do ground that other people are doing in terms of, let's say Sargon, he does his British politics. Sticks, Hex, and Hammer, he's very politically oriented on the politics here. I don't really know what Tim Pool does. I'm going to be looking at probably some of the bigger issues in news that aren't being broadcast as much, but probably have a larger impact on your lives. So hopefully I'll do that. But yeah, that having been said, again, I want to wish you all a very happy New Year. Of course, that was the whole point of this. I'm surprised so many people were about on all platforms, almost 1,000. So that's kind of good. Appreciate that. And I guess I want to say thanks, for being here. I hope you have a healthy, happy, and prosperous New Year. And if you're still on the West Coast, you got about 45 minutes to go. So I want to give you a Happy New Year. So if you're in the Pacific Standard Time, you haven't reached. I think either you or Hawaii is the last. I think I'm not sure which side of the. I'm not sure which side of the date line Hawaii is on. One of the two. Could be the. Yeah, it's probably on the U.S. side. So I guess if you're in now, listening from either the West Coast or you're listening from the West Coast or from Hawaii, Happy New Year to you in a couple hours, and I appreciate it. John Ashley Smith, I'll just give you one here. Thanks for this impromptu live stream. Looking forward to the new year and further outstanding, thoughtful content. Thank you so much, John. Appreciate you being here as well. It's been a pleasure to have you guys here, being with you, and being able to just have a sort of a more, just a more off the cuff kind of thing. I mean, I didn't prepare anything for this, as you probably can tell. I just sat down, and in 10 minutes, this thing kind of went off. So yeah, with that said, guys, thanks very much. And I will see you again in the next live stream. So bye for now.
Hi everyone, just to let you know, I have some old favorites as well as new t-shirt designs on sale right now. Link to find them is in the description, and would like to thank you in advance, as it really does help the channel, as for years now, content like this has been put into an algorithmic black hole, as well as being demonetized. So thanks again, as well.